Hello there, YouTube. Your boy AF Breaking Gaming, and we actually getting an update from the MrBeast situation. That and a lot of more details on the situation in AF Breaking News. So yeah, with the update for the story, it actually came from another YouTuber. His name is Kavos. Here's his channel, here's the video, and also leave a link to his channel down below. And he actually got an interview with the guy Turner, who is the who used to be what's his name, MrBeast's former editor. So we're gonna just play some clips out of that, and it's just kind of crazy, you know. It really changes the perspective on things. It personally changed some of my opinions, but let's just get right into it and let's see what happened.
So about 8 hours passes. It's the end of the workday. I'm like, hey man, I added all these things up and we're at 410,000. So I knew this would happen. And he's like, nah, you probably just did it wrong. And I'm like, I mean, maybe I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Another day goes by. I do the same thing. And he's like, oh my bad. He's like, nah, bro, I don't see how you don't understand this. And I'm arguing like the counterpoint. I'm like, I don't understand what you don't understand. You're the YouTuber here. I'm just editing videos. You haven't done what you said you're doing. And so this would keep going on to the point where he would start deleting the project file, which is, if you've seen like the Optimus video, that's one of like the most viewed videos on the topic, where he's like, this makes no sense. Why the fuck would he delete one of your project files? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. He'd say right in front of me and just start deleting project file and say, you know what, just restart. And by like the 5th day, this would get super annoying. This is a whole week wasted. I know this. And while people are probably going to speculate this to say, this makes sense, that's why it's so frustrating, because time could be better spent on literally doing anything besides fucking with my head at this point. So 5, I'm like, dude, like, please don't delete this again. Just like figure out the fact that like what I've told you this whole week is really what's going on. Everyone in the office was on my side with this, but no one wanted to speak out because MrBeast is very intimidating to go against, because pretty close-minded about stuff like this. So it came to the point where he, again, deleted the project file. I was like, dude, like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you don't understand how off this is making me. He's like, you know what? It's probably just easier to restart anyway. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to go insane. So point, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna just take a walk. I need like 5 minutes. I've been locked in a room with no windows and nothing, doing this 8 hours a day every single day the whole week, and it's Friday and he's starting to tell me to come in on a Saturday to do it. I'm like, dude, you're me. I go take a walk, and I walk into like 10 seconds away, there's another room. My friend works there. His name was Eric at the time. And then I was like, dude, you do not understand how off I'm getting. He's like, dude, everyone sees what's happening. Like, this is understandable that you're pissed off. I would be too. Everyone feels bad, but we can't do anything. And then meanwhile, Jimmy hears me talking about how aggravated I'm getting. He like busts down this door. He's like, you mental fucking retard. If you don't get in this room right now, I swear to God, how many times do I have to fucking tell you to edit this video? You're so fucking stupid. You're retarded. And he goes off on me in front of people.
So in this clip, Turner was actually explaining a situation that he had going with MrBeast, and where he was told to edit a certain video, and what ended up happening was MrBeast did not like the way he was doing it, apparently. I'm not saying this is concrete proof, because once again, there isn't, for this specific clip, there is no concrete proof. All this is really telling us that there was a situation where something like this actually happened. And with that being the way it is, it's kind of still hard to tell right now to really form an opinion on what is still going on. You know, things are still coming out. The other thing that I want to say about this clip is you can see like the way he's saying his emotions and stuff. It seems like he's actually not lying, and like he just kind of I don't know. It seems weird to me personally, but if this is true that MrBeast did all this to him, because it's just kind of crazy. You know, you would think he's a nice guy and all, and it's kind of hard to really. But yeah, I'd like to point out a few things where he kind of added a few more details to the story. Or one of them where he said that he actually got the door slammed on him, and then there were other witnesses right there when it actually happened, which none of those witnesses have come out yet, but more of that later in the video. We will see some of the reasons why everything is the way it is right now.
After like using all my creative energy for a week straight, 40 hours on making this video, I'm in the right, I know, because I know what's going on, and then being screamed at, called a retard, dude. I'm about to have a mental breakdown. Understandably, I feel like anyone would. Then Mr. Beast leaves like 20 minutes later after fucking slamming the door and shutting me in the room that I was editing in. Then I go up to his mom, manager. That's what I'm calling her, like a momager.
Yeah.
And so mom manager, I go up and I was like, this is totally inappropriate. This literally makes no sense. And I feel like I'm like getting like harassed over this video. Like, it makes no sense. And she goes, you know, honestly, I think you just misheard him. That doesn't sound like him. And I'm like, you're f***ing me. Like, so first, I'm getting treated like shit. The manager doesn't even believe it. And she's obviously biased. It's her kid. So I can't be like, your son's a dick. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
So I can't do anything. So obviously I'm the first day, but sure. Right. You know what I mean? And so that's one example of me being screamed at, called retarded over and over again, getting like shut in a room.
Is that the only time it happened? Like...
No, it would definitely happen a lot. Times like other specific times, there'd be a bunch of people.
Yeah, and this other clip right here, all it really is showing us, or telling us at least, is that he, it's just explaining a little more what happened with the mother, which he said that he had very bad momager. So after the thing happened with MrBeast, which just seems like it was just this one, okay, from, here's I'm going to put this, like, from what everything that's been told so far, it seems that it was only like a one-off thing. Like, yeah, it just seems like this is the one time MrBeast kind of just went off on him, but it's still hard to tell like if this really is all that happened. He goes more into depth further into this interview. Once again, thank you so much, Kavos, for doing the interview himself. I actually expected, I don't know, Keemstar to do this, but Keemstar, I'll show a bit of his take on this whole thing, which he does expose something crazy too, but I'll get more into that later. And back to what I was saying. So yeah, all it really shows is that his mom, MrBeast's mom, was like treating him in a just kind of like treating him like nobody really. And since MrBeast's mom is his manager, the dude, like he said, he didn't want to just go up to her telling her that he's a dick. Like, I would understand from my point of view if I had to, let's say I was working with someone, they're my boss and their mom is my boss too. I wouldn't want to just tell that mom that the main boss is kind of a douche. That's just something that he was in a tough position, the editor. Now that things are coming out, there's more details, I'm starting to sympathize with the editor. So yeah, in this next clip from the interview, actually Turner himself starts to explain exactly why he did all those things, like where I actually pointed that out in his YouTube videos, where he was kind of talking about when he joined MrBeast and when he left MrBeast. He actually comes out and kind of talks about why he did those kind of things, and I'll actually be showing the clip right here.
Yeah. First of all, you probably already expect this, the video you made about why you left MrBeast, the initial video you made, right? So you describe MrBeast in this amazing light. You kind of talk about how kind he was, how he paid rent for you, even after you left, he offered to pay rent for you. And on top of that, I think it was at severance, to get your backpacking to Asia. It's kind of like a severance pay, right? He paid you after you left. So to allow you to backpack to Asia, whatever it was you were going to do at the time after you left MrBeast. And in your tweet, you kind of claim that he didn't want anyone to succeed if they left the team, right? They left MrBeast gang. He kind of didn't want that. He didn't want people to succeed out of that. That's why we wouldn't credit editors and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I hear this from you initially, and it doesn't sound like the picture you're painting of MrBeast already. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. This is definitely something that I want to...
Yeah, he sounds like he's really supported you after you've left, and he's, financially backing you, even paying your rent. That's something that an employer would never have to do. It's like above and beyond, if anything. So in my mind, if he's this massive bully that you paint him out to be, why would he go through all that trouble to ensure after you've left the job that you're going to be sorted out and not just out of the job?
Yeah, okay, so I'll totally expand upon this. So the thing that I'm gonna say is I don't want to take away anything from MrBeast, whether this be his videos or the fact that he isn't 100% a terrible guy. This is my time after working for MrBeast. It was different than my time working for MrBeast. I was surprised by what he offered in doing this show.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. So this is all true. He did do all of this stuff. And when in that video, it is true that everything in that video that I said is good, but this is okay. And we both probably know that the one thing against me right now is me being called a clout chaser. Yeah. The thing is that what I would call me being my biggest clout chaser moment would be me saying only good things about me working for him and trying to get on his good side. It literally, like, it's like people don't know that it's like people don't think for as long as I could have, that doesn't matter at all. It was very gracious for him to let me do the thought that counts in a situation like that, like 100%. So that was true. The pay was true. Granted, not what people think I would be getting paid, but that's whatever. It was a contract. I agreed to it. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
100%.
So what you're saying is what you've said in that video is mostly true, but then you're saying that you were blowing smoke up MrBeast's ass just for clout, kind of, to be on his good side.
Yeah, I will like literally say that 100%. Like,
and that now you're telling the truth.
That, and this is the truth. So that was like, I would say like 35% truth in that video, 65 truth being like 35% me just saying shit, you know.
Now, I understand the clout side of it, what you're saying, but even if I don't like a job I'm working for, say I worked, I don't know, say I worked in a restaurant.
Anything.
Yeah. I'm not going to tweet out how much I love it, because you don't have to. If you don't love it that much, you could just keep quiet about it and just get on with your job. And there's so many instances of you just really backing MrBeast. Like, in the comment section of your video, for example, someone commented about saying that's very thoughtful and caring on their part. You replied, right, gotta love them. Someone commented, okay, still think Beast was good about it though. You didn't quit, but they seemed awesome about that. And you said, yeah, it was all good on each end. And then the final one, someone said that MrBeast is so kind, I wish it was my dad. And you said, he's a good guy for sure. Now, for me, YouTube comment section, especially like these intimate replies, that isn't really you. That's kind of...
So what he's basically saying here is, all he's really saying is that the reason he did not call out MrBeast then and there, the reason he said all these nice things about him and just basically kind of was kissing the MrBeast ass was because he thought that he wanted to stay on MrBeast's good side, you know, and on top of that, MrBeast was providing him money in order for him to go to his backpacking in China, or not China, sorry, in Asia, backpacking in Asia, and he just didn't want to lose all that, you know. He had a couple things at the time on in a way. At the same time, though, since he didn't like his experience there, all he had to do was make a quick video, you know, saying, oh, I just left MrBeast and that's it, you know. And then people would just be like, okay, that's cool. It just seems it's a really difficult situation, you know. MrBeast is MrBeast, and I'm just trying to be as unbiased as possible and just kind of stay in the middle, you know, as much as I can. And the editor, you know, he's just bringing out some big points right here, and it's just kind of hard to tell, you know. You want to support the Beast, the main man right now. He's the biggest guy on YouTube at the moment. Like, he's blowing up, making videos and stuff. Everyone wants to be with him, and then that's another thing that, if I were in this situation, I would want to keep MrBeast on my good side. You know, I was working with him. He's helping me right now that I'm getting out. I completely understand that you would want to have that on your side, that support of someone that's so big, you know. So yeah, in this next clip, Kavos actually finds out something that isn't common knowledge. He talks about how MrBeast was able to get him into SOAR, which is gaming group, I believe. Sorry, I don't know much about that, the SOAR clan or thing. So I just that much. All I know is that that's something that he really wanted to get into. And right when he had left MrBeast posse, I guess, or the MrBeast job. Sorry, MrBeast helped him out by getting him into that clan, and then also he was also paying him even after he had stopped editing for him, which it's kind of hard to say, you know.
Because I've read out these tweets as well. I've gone through these.
Okay, yeah.
You're in SOAR, right now? You're in the game.
Yeah, SOAR gaming.
So I've heard that MrBeast helped you get into SOAR.
Yeah, he did totally help me get into SOAR.
So how did he help you get into SOAR?
So basically, when I was leaving, it was like one of my last days at the office. He was kind of just like, "Is there anything you need?" And I was like, "No, I don't have nothing really." It didn't even come to mind. And then again, MrBeast, he was shitting me while I worked there, and this is my working experience. Once I was done working there, and he's like, I can message the leader of SOAR. His name is Crude. I'll message him for you and be like, hey, I recommend this guy. Just like a few sentences saying, he's good at what he does. You should go here. And so he did that, and while that was definitely a recommendation to Soar, and I believe it totally helped. I got into Soar like a month or 2 or 3 later or some shit like that.
Yeah, well, that's obviously another amazing thing, like a great thing to do to help you get more work.
Yeah, no doubt.
Organization, but like you in your tweet, you put that he didn't want people to succeed after he left, and that is a complete contradiction, like to what his actions you're claiming he would have done to what he has actually done, where he's helped you, because that wasn't public information that he helped you get into Soar. I don't think many people know this, but
no, I bet I was surprised.
Yeah.
Talked about it, if I even thought about it, keep going.
And so that it doesn't add up. Like you're saying that he didn't want you to succeed after he left, and now he's helping you get into one of the biggest gaming organizations.
So I'm gonna say is I haven't being in SOAR. I just to thrive in a workplace, and I definitely so I said it was mutual, but it kind of ended was not parallel to really how it ended. Right. Again, that was my biggest cloud chaser moment, being nice about everything, when it would have been smart if I was going to do this to just do it then, but then I didn't want to not be able to ever be promoted again by MrBeast. When I was going to Asia and I had sponsors, it was in my best interest to just say everything good. So I think he did more good things than bad. No, because every single day that I worked there up until the very end moving forward, good. But every single day that I worked there, after like the first few days, the worst. Almost everyone at the team when I worked there at the time was constantly leaving. It was like, I can't take this anymore. I think once I left, I'm gonna be honest, it probably got better. I have texts with like workers and me saying, hey, is it any better?
It's really hard because like he's doing all these nice things for the guy, right? He's giving him money, he's helping him like progress him in the future, even though in his tweets he said that MrBeast wouldn't set up his editors for the future because you're just expendable or whatever, which I can't understand, because editing a MrBeast video, depending on the video, okay, don't get me wrong, they don't seem that difficult. It seems like even I'm gonna go on a whim and say I think I could edit a MrBeast video if I had the time and the money and just the resources to do it, which the dude did. If he worked for MrBeast, then I'd definitely be I'm sorry, but I'll definitely be able to say that, do that too. And I can see why MrBeast would call him replaceable, but where Tim was treating him mad by calling him the R word, which retarded, sorry. It's difficult, And one thing that kind of comes to mind, I don't want to defend MrBeast for saying this, however, it's kind of because MrBeast is a younger fella. He's like 20, 21 around there right now, and he seems like he was a kind of a gamer person, and I'm a gamer myself. You guys can tell, It just seems that he would say that because he's it's in a way it's gamer speak by calling him. He's like, oh bro, you're retarded. Now it's not so good to say that. However, it seems it was more of a situation like that, but it's still hard to tell. But let us get into more details here. So in these next clips, which honestly it's the one thing that really helps me side on Turner's side. It's basically what happens in the clips is Turner brings up some of his receipts, quote unquote, because I guess that's what they call them instead of proof or whatever, I don't know. And it's some pretty like it isn't 100% like, yeah, this is that's the smoking gun. However, it really changes one person's perspective. Here, I'll play that. So now that you've seen the clips, he has screenshots of the conversations he's had with some of these people that are working with MrBeast at the moment. Well, not as of like recording this video, but as of when he texted said person. Just trying to clarify that, because I don't know 100% details. I'm only a small channel, and I don't have the resources that these bigger guys got. So I'm working with what I got. And like I was saying, the crazy thing about these screenshots is that one of them came from one of the people who works with your girlfriend. She's explaining, oh wow, this is crazy. I heard that they're like he's told her boyfriend has told her like of how situations are, how it's bad, and how he's always so stressed out. And then they also talk about this one guy, this other guy who he was talking to. He's just talking about how he's working there and how things haven't really changed and they've gotten worse, but he's kind of forcing himself to stay there because he gets some of the benefits of writing back on the weekends. I think that's what he said. I'm not really sure what he's referring to there, but I guess it's kind of like he has commute to work, or he or she, sorry, has commute to work, and so they're just trying their best to like. I'm not really sure, you know. I guess like maybe they have a week on, week off is what he means. But either way, they kind of not necessarily force themselves. They could leave the job if they wanted to, but it's just within their benefit. It's more of in their benefit in order to stay there. So yeah, you know, this is crazy stuff. These videos here, this is just wow. You know, this interview with the Turner, Kavos. Once again, thank you so much for really bringing out all this proof. And so there's one more clip I want to show you from the interview. I'll let that play right now.
I don't know if this will work in this video because I don't know if this is lead to anything, but the conversation, let me know if this even means anything. Conversation I had with an employee, yo dude, how's the new job? This was when I wasn't working there. He goes, hey yo, honestly, nothing has changed. Some things have even gotten worse, but they let me drive back and forth once a week, so that's why I'm still here. And then I said, LMAO, I hope not too much worse. This is so stressful and good. It's good to get a break like that. We get a time, that's awesome. And then me just like recommending things in the area. And then he goes, dude, it's so stressful. He's been shortening deadlines too, and it's been literally the worst. I feel so bad for Ethan though. He's a trooper, talking about another editor named Ethan.
Can you cover that guy's name and put it to the camera so we can see?
Yeah, let me just screenshot it.
If you blank it as well, like send it to my Twitter. I can get a better quality one for it.
And there's some above it that I just read. I can send that too.
Right.
And then I'll go back to the DMs.
I can see it right now. There's actual proof that you guys have been texting about this. But a job being stressful is just a job being stressful, you know?
No, and that's true, but like...
And shortening deadlines, maybe he just needs to have a productive week.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's why it's hard to talk about how stressful it was. Someone's girlfriend in the team now, girlfriend ended up messaging me, and she was like, I don't know if this... I mean, there are some things I probably just should have been like, here, boom, there you go. You know what I mean? So she was like, just want to say thank you for bringing the MrBeast workplace environment to the surface. I used to date blank, who now works there, and I've heard horror stories from what he's told me about how toxic that place is, and has been said to stuff. That English doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying. So like, he's told me horror stories about literally how toxic that place is and what has been said to him and stuff. I hope this brings into perspective what.
And so basically, what Turner is explaining here, what he's trying to do right now. He's not trying to take away that MrBeast. Yeah, he's the worst guy in the world. He's not trying to, you know, for all the good things he has done, all the money he's donated, all those projects he's worked on. He just wants to just get an apology or something like that. He doesn't want to discredit MrBeast from being like, oh no, he's the worst guy in the world or whatever. He just wants to get an apology. He just wants to, I guess, set the record straight maybe, because when he first, you know, it's kind of confusing how this whole thing turns out, honestly. But you know, it's a different time. It really is. You know, I'm changing perspective some people on MrBeast, but I would still stand with the MrBeast and Turner. I'd send them both. No, wait, hear me out before all of you guys start going crazy here on me. You know, MrBeast, he's done good things. You know, maybe that time he was stressed out. I don't know what was really going on there. That's definitely not a way you should treat a person. All right, don't get me wrong there. However, it's hard to tell. You know, people are people. They'll always make mistakes, and well, it's just tough. It's just tough. You know, I keep saying that, you know, it's tough. But it really is, you know, taking a side here and there. One of them is a big YouTuber, it's getting lots of views. You would love to meet him one day. And then the other one, he's not really a big YouTuber, but he's a person who worked, and he's still a person, you know, and you want to side with the person. Or you want to side with the big YouTuber, you know, you want to side with both of them, because I genuinely enjoy MrBeast content. You know, I watch it not all the time, but I watch most of his videos. And the Turner guy, I want to be on his side, because he's just this guy that, you know, he worked for him and can't really do much on his own. You know, what's this one editor dude gonna do against, you know, MrBeast, right? And yeah, so after this interview and everything, Kavos, thank you so much for doing the interview. Without that information, I wouldn't have been able to really get an update on the video. And I actually think that you covered the situation a lot better than Keemstar did, which is actually the next clip I'm going to show you. This came from the Keemstar interview. Keemstar did bring up some things too. However, he basically said most of the generic things I said in my last video. If you haven't seen that, you might want to see that in order to see this one. But I still believe that Kavos' video, his video on the whole situation was a lot better than Keemstar's. And Keemstar's whole job is to report on drama, right? Crazy. But let me just show you that clip real quick.
investigating the story, I just called MrBeast and I was talking to him, and it basically was like, what's going on with this editor? And what MrBeast told me is basically like when they like fired him or whatever, they gave him $10,000 and they got him a job at SOAR. So
the craziest part about that what's it called, information that Mr. Keemstar brought up about the whole MrBeast situation is crazy, because they gave MrBeast, when Turner left, gave him $10,000. I know to MrBeast it's 10,000. What he makes videos where he's always giving out hundreds of thousands of bucks, but $10,000, that's enough to pay for a semester of college, or at least depending on the college. All right, that's enough to pay for college. That's enough to like rent a home for a year almost, assuming it's only a 1K per rent, or it depends. But $10,000 for leaving someone you worked with, like that's crazy. That's going above and beyond for like a lot of places, like job places. This isn't like something MrBeast had to do. It's just something he did. And the other thing, he got him a job into SOAR, which I had mentioned earlier. That is something that Turner himself wanted to get into, and MrBeast gave him the recommendation in order to join the SOAR clan, which is crazy because this is the dude's dream job. And Keemstar went out, I'm not Keemstar, sorry, and MrBeast went out and gave it to him, you know, because if you watched his videos, he actually mentions, not Turner's video, sorry, if you watch Turner's videos on his channel, because I watched a few in order to get a good, you know, insight on like what the whole person is and everything, he actually mentioned SOAR clan a few times, and he actually wanted to join them, and he's now part of them because of MrBeast, which is crazy. This whole situation's been kind of weird, you know, and there isn't really much I can really say, except for one thing, is that MrBeast, you gotta come out with something soon. He needs to make a statement, and we gotta find out what's going on. I know MrBeast wants to stay out of controversy and all this stuff, and honestly, that's a good play, but sometimes staying out of it doesn't, I mean, not controversy, sorry, drama, but staying out of it isn't really the good choice. And if you guys want to see the full interview, I'll have a link to Kavos' video down below. I really suggest watching it, because like there's a few details I left out because I didn't just want to copy and paste this whole interview, or else this thing would be like freaking an hour long. Yes, that Kavos' video is 50 minutes long. I sat there and watched the whole thing. Honestly, it was really entertaining, and that's all I really want to say for this video. And this is a crazy situation. Really hope that MrBeast isn't quote unquote canceled, because that's a thing that people love doing, but we'll see what happens. And thank you so much for coming out, guys. This is actually a longer video than expected to be so long, but if you guys enjoyed, hope you guys like, subscribe and share, you know, do your things. I'll see you guys in the next one.